Good evening, and welcome to January 7th, 2015, the first one of 2015. First on the agenda tonight is to vote minutes. The first is December 17th.
Mr. Chairman, I've read the minutes and find them acceptable.
I have a small change that I would suggest in the discussion of the Nemesis River restoration. It just has to do with the question I asked about the historical conditions.
And that's on page 2?
That's on page 2.
Okay.
In the proceeding.
With the submission of the correction, that's Mike's motion. There is some.
I have one other small correction
Okay.
on the Coon message.
Okay.
I think it said that the assistant hearing warden that I talked to was from another town. He was from Falmouth.
Okay.
Okay. For what's worth.
Duly noted. And with those corrections being submitted to the record, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved. Next is the December 30th. That was our special meeting.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
That's Russ's motion. Mike's second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved. Now we move on to request for determination of applicability. This is the lesser of the two permits that we did here tonight. A negative determination allows the project to proceed, as discussed with the administrator and staff. The first one tonight is David Wall, 41 Chappaquay Road, West Falmouth, for permission to construct a one-car garage addition, relocate the main entry to the house, modify the steps to the back porch, modify the sewage disposal system, and the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the staff has reviewed the project. We're recommending a -2 under the state and the bylaw with the resource area boundaries now confirmed.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, that'll be Mary's motion and Russell's second. Is there any other discussion on this from the board? Is there anyone in the audience who would like to talk about this project? Seeing none, call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Unanimous, so moved. Next is 7 Swift Street, West Falmouth, for permission to repair the existing 4-foot-high or 110-foot-long seawall to include repointing and stone replacement. Jen?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the staff has reviewed the project. We're recommending a -2 under the state and the bylaw with the resource area boundaries not confirmed.
So moved.
Second.
That's Michael's motion, Russ's second. Is there any other discussion on the board? Is there anyone in the audience who would like to talk about this project? Seeing none, call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved. Now we're moving on to request for a hearing under a notice of intent. All hearings of the Falmouth Conservation Commission are held simultaneously under the authorities of the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act and the Falmouth Wetlands Bylaw. Although a single decision of the Commission is issued, it represents a separate decision under each authority. First on the agenda this evening is 71 Little Island Road, West Falmouth, Mass, for permission to renovate the existing single-family house to include 3 additions with 3 second-story decks, construct a detached garage, install a terrace, Title V sewage disposal system, utilities, reconfigure the driveway, and the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping. Thank you. At this point, Jen, do you have any comments?
No, I'll save any of my comments until after Tim's presentation.
Okay, thank you.
I think I just figured out more.
Good evening. For the record, Tim Santos from Holmes & McGrath, representing the applicant. Some of you might be familiar with this property. We were here probably, I believe, 2 or 3 years ago with number 75, the rear house, at which time an order of conditions was issued for basically a tear down and rebuild. The family has since decided to forego that project, and they've done some minor interior renovations to number 75. So basically, we're here tonight for number 71. We want to renovate the existing home with some small additions to the north, south, and east side of the home, with second-story decks to the north, south, and west side. We're also proposing a shed in the northern portion of the property, a garage in the north portion of the property, and we'll be updating the septic system to meet Title V. We will also be reconfiguring the driveway and extending it up to that garage. The resource areas on or within 100 feet of the property are bordering vegetation on the southern side of Little Island Road, and then a salt marsh and bordering vegetated wetland that is on house number 75 to the west of this property. There's also a isolated coastal bank that runs along the front side of number 75 house as well. All the work is proposed within flood zone AE elevation 17. If the board has any questions, I'd be more than happy to address them.
Thank you, Tim. Jen?
Tim, the only question I have is, what are your impervious surface, like, what's your net? Is it a decrease or an increase? Looks like it's an increase.
It's an increase. The garage itself up in the northern portion, and then the small additions to the house as well as the decks.
But you don't have any mitigation for it?
Buffer zone A is full on the lot.
How is that possible when it's lawn on the lot?
If you look to the southwest corner.
Yeah, you have a salt marsh?
Corner of the lot, okay.
Oh, got it, right there.
It's 100 feet that runs basically through number 75, coming down towards where on the plan it says former lot line, and then that runs to the east.
Got it.
Okay, that's the 50-foot off of the BBW on the south side of Little Island Road, and 100 feet off of the salt marsh. So the buffer zone A on this lot is full, and in accordance with the redevelopment regulations, if buffer zone A is full, no mitigation plantings are required.
Okay. Don't know if I see what you're saying. That was good.
I mean, we are,
As you keep going, on the lot, on the lot, on the lot. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Let me just reread that, and that was my only thing.
Mike?
Thanks, Tim.
I guess I'm stuck on the same, if there's no mitigation, then the trees to be taken down or not to be compensated
yeah,
for?
the trees that are being taken down are similar to what was done on the previous project. In order to gain access to the garage, we are proposing to put back some trees along the lot line, 4 to 6 foot cedars. But it's, basically we tried to minimize the number of trees that were coming down. If anyone was here on the last project, we reviewed that. We tried to meander the driveway through some of those big mature trees if you've been to the site.
You notice that a number of the trees are designated with a minimum diameter. Some of them, if we talk to the maximum diameter, they're a lot bigger than your 10 min. And I guess if we're just going through where your thinking is, I guess I'm okay. It's just a nice little piece of forest that is being chewed up pretty well.
Well, if you've been to the site,
I have.
Most of the trees are, pines. There are some oaks in there, and it's all mulch underneath those trees. They're all limbed up. That they've been that way for a very long time. It's not a full vegetated area. It's also mainly in land subject to coastal storm flowage, where these trees. Well, it's in land subject to coastal storm flowage where these trees are coming down. It's not in a buffer zone A, buffer zone B to our resource area.
You're making a compelling argument. I'm not thrilled, but you're making the argument.
Well, I don't buy it.
Nick?
It doesn't say the law.
No questions.
Mary?
The plan, the narrative makes reference to the BBW delineation forms, but I don't know that we have them, I haven't seen them.
No, they're in there. I
They're in
thought they were, yeah, they're in
I believe they're at the back.
the back.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. And the only other thing I would mention is that, even if mitigation isn't required, I believe an improvement is required.
Currently, the house does not have any dry wells. We are proposing dry wells to help control roof runoff,
Not to mention Title V sewage.
and an upgrade on the Title V as well.
Well, I share Mike's chagrin about the loss of so many trees, but, I don't know. I'm gonna yield to Mario.
Okay, Mario?
I share Mary's concern about the number of trees for the SAS in the garage. It's 18 trees? What we're
I
talking about?
believe that's what it is, yes.
Yeah. But you don't show diameters of what's coming up. Seems to me we asked for diameters just to see what kind of biomass we're actually losing here. I'll defer to the rest of the commissioners if they think that's necessary to take diameters of those trees. 18 trees, and they weren't all spindly cedars. I saw a couple of pretty good sizes. There's a white pine there that was pretty considerable. But,
I think that since this isn't subject to mitigation requirements, it doesn't make
I'm not
sense to require the diameters.
Completely convinced about that.
You're not convinced?
And I'll read it to you.
so we don't ordinarily ask for diameters?
Well, we do when it's a question of mitigation.
Which is not the case.
No, well, we're debating that.
It says so in the regs, it says no mitigation buffer planting shall be required for work within Zone B where the existing naturally vegetated buffer meets the resource area buffer distances in FWR 1018-5A, but an improvement to any of these resource areas described must be provided. It doesn't say on the lot. And the buffer to that wetlands and that salt marsh is not completely vegetated 100 feet. So, that's what I'm saying. So I do need to know the increase. And I just caught that, Tim, I'm sorry, I would have talked to you about it before. But I was focusing on the fragmented coastal bank when I was talking to you, and the one way down here, and I had missed the two over here. So that'll be up to the board. You may have to give them an increase, impervious surface calculation.
As far as the 100 feet to the salt marsh, that 100-foot buffer zone, I don't believe it even crosses our lot.
It doesn't say lot, though, in the regs. It's about, providing buffer plantings and mitigation plantings where a buffer's not fully developed. I'm not saying you have to put it on that lot, but you do need to place it somewhere. If the lots are controlled by the same entity, you may.
Also, it says former lot line.
And I would like to draw attention to that. It says former lot line, and what is being proposed is on one lot. It is not under the control to ask about mitigation going on to a different lot. I do not see that.
Oh, that's fine, then it has to go on their lot. Then it
And
has to go
that's
on lot.
That's the only way I
Yeah,
personally
lot
would have a
71.
comfort level is to, we're talking about this individual lot. Even though, I don't know how they're titled, if they're contiguous with the same owner or not, if it's two different, entities that do that. I have a great comfort level on discussing any increase in mitigation on this lot.
And then the tree issue, so I guess I'll have to
Can I
discuss
just
that.
ask a follow-up question? What is the significance in terms of titles, legal ownership of former lot line. Is there a lot line there now or not?
The property lines just went before the planning board last night to adjust the lot lines. And the planning board approved the lot lines. So at the time that this plan was submitted to your board, the reason it says former lot line is because technically that lot line wasn't approved. So we're showing that former lot line.
Okay, and are we looking at two lots with separate owners or the different, or?
I believe they're under
one
two
owner?
separate ownerships,
Okay. Okay, thank you.
legally.
So back to your,
Correct. Please.
I think there's a compelling argument that existing dwelling is being used in a manner we're going to a Title V section, which is going to be an improvement.
Yes.
I mean, I think under that, it doesn't do away with my, I guess I'm a bit of a tree hugger. I just, some people are and some people aren't, and I think they're beautiful little structures, and but on the other hand, the rules are the rules, and I guess that's where I sit.
I do believe that the previous project that was approved, there were more trees coming down because that driveway went out to number 75.
But you abandoned the previous project, and this isn't the previous project, this is the
Technically,
project
the
on.
order of conditions is still valid.
And didn't you tell me they did a whole bunch of interior renovation?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
Well, historically, if I may, I do recall this, and
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
I'm under the impression that you are
11,
right.
12 trees were coming down for the driveway.
Yeah.
Here's the old plan.
That,
Nice try, Tom. You were protecting a whole bunch of them.
This is something that has been altered quite a bit from the previous. There is some benefit, limited as it may be, that the upgrading of the septic system and the dry wells, and the explanation that my fellow commissioner found compelling about the buffer area. So if we look at this, and we all know the trees are coming down, there are some coming back, and they will continue to grow. If there's no further discussion or information necessary, I'd entertain a motion.
Make a motion to accept the
Close the hearing.
That's Michael's motion.
I'll second it.
That's Russell's second. At this point, I'd like to open up to the audience, if there's anyone with comment on this project. I'd like to defer back to the board. Are we comfortable on any more questions or information necessary?
Just one, is there any part of the velocity zone within the limit of work?
The limit of work does cross the velocity zone, but not for work. It's just crosses over in the area where there's existing work.
I'll find the mitigation, I'll get it.
We good? No more questions?
Anybody else? No?
Call for the vote. All those in
Close.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved. Thank you very much.
Russ, I gave you the DMF letter for 18, right?
Correct.
Moving onward. We had 18 Willis Lane for permission to repair and maintain the existing 185-foot linear feet of stone riprap, 110 linear feet of stone groin, removal of existing timber pilings, beach maintenance, and the placement of 55 cubic yards of sand in the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping. Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. And DMF's letters came in real late today.
I'll be honest, I don't read the pages. But it probably went to Jeff, I think it wasn't there.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything that you should be concerned with. I just want to let you know.
Again, for the record, Tim Santos from Holmes and McGrath, representing the applicant. Property is located at 8 Willis Lane in East Falmouth. The resource area is on or within 100 feet of the property are land under the ocean, land containing shellfish, land subject to coastal storm flowage, coastal beach, and a coastal bank. The property has recently been purchased, and the new owners are looking to reconstruct the existing riprap as well as the groin. When it's all said and done, they're also looking to put a 4-inch beach nourishment over the existing beach that's there. The existing riprap and groin are licensed under license number 4177. Any disturbed areas along the top of the existing ripraps will be replanted with a muffler, and I believe it's Seaside Golden. I think that's what the notice talks about. We do have a construction access to come down the existing driveway and go around the east side of the home to get back to the existing riprap. If the board has any questions, I'd be more than happy to address them.
Jen?
No, only, Tim, that the order's going to just reference, DP's beach nourishment guide. That's it. And you don't have a time restriction for any, like, horseshoe crabs or anything, so you're good from DMF. And do you have to remove any vegetation for your construction access? It looks like a little bit, but...
Yeah, there is a plan. Hopefully, it all works out. They are planning to tear down the house and rebuild the house. Ideally, we'd like to tear down the house, come through, rebuild the riprap, and go back out. But they're working with the architects right now. I don't know the timing of that.
Okay, got it, okay.
So if
So you have
everything
to
works
show
out.
construction
Yeah,
access.
so we have to show the construction access as is. If vegetation is removed, it will be replaced in kind, and we did speak with Mark
Okay.
about that. We'd accept
Yep.
the condition, that's not a
Okay.
problem.
Okay. And that's what it would be, is,
Yeah,
Yeah, we can,
figure that out.
that doesn't need to be an amendment or anything, we'll just clear it through staff if we change the construction access.
okay.
It's fine.
Mike?
No questions?
Us?
Tim, that, you've got the areas landward of the wall. Is that 10-foot strip going to be wide enough?
What they're gonna wind up doing is putting a sand ramp over the riprap, and they'll build from the beach back up, and any
Okay.
work done on the top, 10 feet's wide enough in order for them to do what they need to do.
It's all going to be done from the beach. Yeah. Okay, I'm all set.
Okay.
In your narrative, there's a reference to proposed ongoing beach maintenance activities, including raking and cleaning of the beach sand. Is that something that's been happening?
To be honest, I don't know what the previous owners did.
And,
It's something that the new owners would like to do.
and is this a raking for like the rack line?
I
or-
think it's just to clean the beach as far as the rack line, so that they would be able to use it with their family in a cleaner manner.
Okay, we can discuss it in deliberations, you can say leave 10% of the rack line,
Yeah,
it's usually...
I mean,
what you-
it's a, for bird feeding.
Sure.
It's less than ideal. So, yeah, okay, we'll discuss that.
Yeah,
Mario?
Does the new owner know that this was a provisional Chapter 91 license?
I believe so, and they have a year from the time of the sale of the home in order
And
to.
he realizes one of the provisions of that is that within a year, it will lapse unless he goes and gets a new
Correct.
Chapter 91.
Yeah.
He
Correct.
understands that.
Correct, we have informed them of that.
Of course, the pilings were supposed to be out of there in
96.
1986. It's still there.
Not much left of them yet.
Admittedly, the groin needs work, no doubt about that. Have we heard from DMF or
Yes.
the Shellfish Board?
We've heard from DMF. We heard from them today. No time of year restriction, basically follow DEP's beach nourishment guide.
Right.
So, their standard verbiage.
What, are you gonna use like a little bobcat to grade out the beach?
The beach, I'm assuming that's what they would use. I mean, it's only, ideally, the sand that they're gonna use to build the ramp to get down there, and probably a little more, would then be just kind of spread out and raked around. It's only, 4 inches.
4
Just-
inches,
It's
yeah.
kind of a veneer, just to,
They give them a ramp to get down.
Good? Okay. At this point, I'd take a motion, if we have enough information.
I'll make a motion to close the hearing, take it under advisement.
Second.
Okay, that would be
Oh.
Russell's motion and Mary's second. At this point, I'll open up to the audience, if there's anyone. We'll correct that to Mario's second. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to discuss this project? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Unanimous, so moved. Thank you.
Long time no
Trick
see.
tonight, huh? This is,
Birthday hat trick.
so,
at
next,
least they're all in a row.
yeah. Next on the agenda,
You're very efficient
Tim
presenter.
said
this is 3 and 7 Gunning Point Road, Falmouth, Mass, for permission to construct and maintain a single-family house with attached garage, deck, porch to install patio, walkways, retaining walls, fire pit, paved driveway, the Title V sewage disposal system, utilities, and the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping. Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Tim.
Again, for the record, Tim Santos from Homes and McGrath, representing the applicant. Property is located at number 3 and number 7 Gunning Point Avenue. I believe all of you were here for this project that probably came before you a month ago, at which time the owners were proposing some bank restoration, removal of invasives, and some plantings along the bank behind these 2 properties. So, I'm hoping that most of you are familiar with it. The applicant would like to construct a new home on number 3. In doing so, there is a portion of the house and decks and kind of hardscape in the rear of the home that's within 100 feet of the top of the bank. We do have an FWR buffer zone A, 100 feet from the BVW line. We're not proposing any work inside that area. That's a no-touch zone. All the work's proposed in B, so our buffer zone A is full on this lot, and we are proposing to construct a new home, Title V system, driveway, retaining walls, hardscape. There is some hardscape that kind of wraps from lot number 3, excuse me, house number 3 to house number 7, so that's why this has been filed under one application with two separate lots on it. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to address them.
Thank you. Jen?
Tim, I'll agree with you in this case that your Zone A is completely vegetated. No questions.
Mike?
Oh, I'm sorry, and you said that Mark and Jeff handled
Yeah,
the
there was a
coast-
question initially
the
on
coastal bank.
coastal bank. Mark was looking at an adjacent
Yeah.
lot and didn't realize the contours of 1 foot versus 2 foot.
2 foot, okay.
It's been-
So they got that settled.
They have.
Okay, awesome. That was it.
Thank you. Mike?
It's a deep basement, you're gonna have quite a bit of excavation?
It's a deep basement. Can you just repeat that, please?
It's 10 feet between the basement and the first floor,
Yes,
10 feet.
yes.
I mean, personally, I'd die for that basement, but that's neither, you know, that's not the issue. My issue is, I don't want to see the soil ending up down in the wetlands, so that if you're going to
Oh,
be moving that much soil, I just,
There is a limit of work that's shown along, it's probably hard to see.
Yeah.
But, right along the silt fence along the buffer zone A.
okay,
So that way, no removal of vegetation or trees or anything would take place on the
beyond the
opposite
tree.
side.
And
And it would prevent any erosion from going down the hill as well.
have fun with the boulders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good?
Yeah, good.
Russell?
The proposed fire pit area? Is that wood or gas, or what are we doing in here?
Basically, it's a hardscape area, and they're just gonna build, I guess, out of masonry blocks, a fireplace where they'd put some kindling in and have a little fire pit area to hang out, relax, enjoy the scenery.
Okay, that was it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if this is a question for you or better for Jen, and it's certainly a moot point with respect to the project, but I'm wondering if we should have the zone A of the coastal bank depicted on the plan.
I was thinking that. Tim, can you give me a plan that shows me a 50-foot shot from the top of that coastal bank? I measured it. It looks like you don't have a zone A on the top of the bank,
Right.
and it would be 50 feet, and you have it? I
Yeah,
think
from
Mary just
that-
wants it put
From
on
that
the
corner
plan.
over, sure, I understand what you're looking for.
Right.
Yeah.
Um,
So just give me a new plan
Yeah,
tomorrow with that
yeah.
on, and it'll be fine. Would that help, Mary?
Yes. thanks.
Okay.
I was, well, it would have helped me orient myself more quickly. I'm all set, thank you.
Mario?
It's a pretty funky coastal bank,
Yeah.
to say the least. Were the transects taken to
There
determine
is,
that?
yes, there is a transects, there is shots, and the coastal bank was approved under the order that was before you a month ago.
So are those transects in the file, or?
I have one with me, if I can submit it for.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
If I can find it.
Thank you. Any other concerns, Mario? I'm gonna take
No,
this up.
the proposed dwelling's in a waste lot now. I mean,
Yeah.
It's pretty overgrown with some pretty noxious weeds. It cries out for a good revegetation plan. Right now, it's just junk.
My one comment is, as of late, I've seen a lot of siltation fences not installed correctly. And it's really becoming irritable. It's something that, particularly this time of year, is not easy to do, but once it's installed correctly, it lasts a while. And it's just something that, the undertaking of it, a little bit of extra time to do it correctly. There may be a little asterisk next to a comment in the order discussing so. It's just something that I think would,
I fully agree with you, and I understand exactly what you're saying. As the engineer, we're not there as the contractor.
right.
So, but I understand what you're saying, and if somebody
put it
takes
out
the
over-
extra 2 to 5 minutes to do it the right way, it is gonna
And
last.
if I put it over the airwaves, maybe the other people that
Sure.
occasionally watch this, just to see if I trip up on saying something, understand that, you know, this is one of the tripping points on a site. This is site management, and that's something that, again, in the order of conditions, this, in a wind-blown area like this, and having to go into the, you know, it's all those things, you know, it's site management. So, that's my 2 cents on this one. Is there any further discussion on the board? I'd entertain a motion if we have enough information.
Move to close the hearing and take it under advisement.
Second.
Mary's motion, Mario's second. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to comment on this project? Seeing none, call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Unanimous, so moved. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you for your time.
Well,
Thank you,
Thank you,
Tim.
Tim.
Great weekend.
Happy
You
birthday.
too.
Happy birthday.
Safe travels home.
Tell Mike he never did so well.
Yeah. Next, we move on to Ty Perini, Narragansett Harbor, North Falmouth, Mass. for permission to install a shellfish aquaculture grow-out site approximately 2 acres from the bottom culture of eastern, 2 acres for the bottom culture of eastern oysters, bay scallops, and razor clams. I knew I was gonna mess that up. Jen?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'll save any of my questions until after Mr. Perini's presentation.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name's Ty Perini, and yes, I'm trying to put a shellfish aquaculture site in the Narragansett Harbor. It's going to be located, I'm sorry, I don't have a poster. Yes, you guys have the illustration in front of you, but basically, dead center between the Brands Canal channel and the Fiddler's Cove channel, going out about 1,000 feet offshore. And yeah, it's going to be a pretty traditional off-bottom culture setup. It'll either be rack and bag inside the aquaculture, PVC coated cages, or it's just going to be the actual cages themselves, no bag. And it will be no higher than 18 inches off the ocean bottom. It will be, the depth on that location is about 9 feet at low tide to about 17 feet at the, a little closer into the middle of the harbor. And I put razor clams down there as, I mean, if I want to experiment, but I mean, it's not going to be the main part of this. If I did, I would use either plastic or fiberglass bins on the bottom. Again, nothing over 18 inches high, and it would just have mesh on the top. But the majority of this is going to be rack and bag and just the traditional oyster cages, PVC coated marine material. And there are actually 2 illustrations in my letter of intent. One was the original proposal, and the other one was made slightly smaller because there was eelgrass found within 25 feet of the southeast corner. I moved the southeast corner back about 40 feet just to get enough away from it.
Okay.
And basically, I'll be scuba diving, go get them up. On my boat, I have a lobster pot hauler. That's how I'll maintain it.
Okay.
Just the four corner buoys. That's it. Not a bunch of buoys in the middle or anything like that. Everyone hear me all right?
Yes,
I'm kind of
absolutely.
cold.
Yep,
I'm sorry.
that's all right. No, we're doing well with that.
But yeah.
We'll open it up to the board. Okay. Jen?
Ty, how many cages you gonna have?
I would say the first year,
Yeah.
about 150
150
At-
cages?
at the most.
Okay. So max 150 cages?
Yes.
All right.
On your first
And
one.
where's your boat, where's your staging area gonna be? Is it in Rand's Canal?
Yes.
Yep. Is that where the boat is currently?
No.
No.
And honestly, I might not even be docking it this year. Just
Okay.
having a trailer.
Okay. And do you have an updated letter? I saw that you had a letter from Chuck and Greg, Marine Environmental Services. Do you have an updated letter with them supporting their thing? Because they said that they will support initial proposal moving forward with your DMF environmental survey, and that was in 2013. And that at this time, our only recommendation, they've changed their marker, their buoy marker system, so any order that you're given was going to reflect their new protocol for marking grants?
I don't have an updated letter from them,
Okay, but you don't have an updated letter from them?
no. That's, I don't.
Okay. Okay.
Is that for any
It says we
changes?
reserve for additional comment after the survey's completed. Have they seen Jerry's survey?
Yes, yeah, they were copied on that.
They were copied on that?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you send them a copy of your notice of intent?
Yes,
You did send it to Marine Environmental Services? Okay.
but slightly smaller, the actual area, didn't get any bigger.
Okay.
Mike?
I guess I need a little education. How do these things stay in place during that storm event?
I actually, that's in the proposal, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna basically put these cages in a line, in several lines, and they're all gonna be connected just to a piece of rope, just with a weight on each end. And if there's ever a hurricane or something, I'm gonna go down there with those hand-twisted helical anchors, just to be certain.
And that's what, be on the end of them,
At the end?
augered in?
Yeah,
Okay.
without an auger, though, just
Just
twist it with your hand.
Yeah, the concern is that all this thing doesn't end up in one of the resource areas during the event. That's my,
I'm sorry, I said?
my concern is that the whole system doesn't end up in a wetland during that event. And there's enough prevention against that. I think you've answered my concern.
Okay. Yeah, no, it was properly anchored, whether events are gonna end up anywhere.
I'm good.
Russ?
Just a question for Jen. This was the only correspondence received from any of the abutters, this one email?
That one email, yep.
Okay, I'm all set.
Okay. Mary?
Where in your proposal is the information that you just provided about the storm management?
It should have been front in my initial proposal to the selectmen.
Oh,
It's in, honestly, 2 pages of text, the description.
Did you include that in this?
I believe I did, yeah.
I'm not seeing it, Ty.
I don't see it.
I didn't see it. So.
Do you have a copy of that with you, Ty?
I don't have a copy of it with me.
You're gonna need to provide that to me? Okay, bring it to the office tomorrow?
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Also needing some education on this. For the species that you're planning to cultivate, what disease management concerns or activities, if any, are
Well-
appropriate and are you proposing?
All of any shellfish that goes in the water is going to be tested by Massachusetts state approved facilities, and, nothing will be
Tested
allowed in
before
there
it goes
if there's
in.
any disease in there. There's,
Is that what you mean?
I'm sorry?
It will be tested before it goes in?
Yes, yeah, the pathology reports will have to go from the hatchery to the state before I can put anything in the water. So they'll be.
What about once it's in the water? Is there any kind of monitoring that is required for that?
Not really, no. I mean, I don't believe I have to get them tested for any kind of disease after that.
You don't?
Come in clean. I mean, if they were diseased, then that'd be from the surrounding environment. Are you
Or
asking
the
me-
aggregation of the animals.
You're asking me if I'm gonna send them away to be tested periodically?
Well, I don't know. It's my understanding that many operations have a routine for testing themselves. So we may need to look into that a little more. Are you familiar with the regulations, Jen?
No, not for that. That's why I wanted an updated letter from Chuck and Greg. They would know more than I would on
Okay.
that one.
As far as Vibrio, I mean, yeah, I have to follow the rules as far as processing and all that, but, I mean, that's a health
Right.
issue and all that, but as far as shellfish to shellfish, I wasn't aware that I have to have them tested periodically. I didn't ever hear that.
Well, I'm not certain, but it's something
I can
that-
check with Chuck tomorrow.
Yeah, it's something that, it's my impression that is kind of standard for an aquaculture operation. So, okay, so Jen will check on that. and-
I'll check with Chuck.
Thank you.
If I could jump in, on part of the narrative here, it says the license shall comply with all the laws of the Commonwealth, including environmental laws and the laws concerning interference with navigation and that. If we have approved similar projects, and I think we'd be able to see if it was reflected in other approved projects, that whatever has been approved by the board in the past would be likewise with this one, even though it may be lacking in this narrative right now, but it would have to be included in the order of conditions. Any of the findings that we find as far as your obligation, once your aquaculture is started, any of the performance standards as all the others are adhering to, that would be reflected by yourself. Okay.
And there is another shellfish farm in Megantic Harbor.
Yes.
Yes, we just saw the
So we
amended
just want to
part.
make sure that whatever we're going to approve with you, your understanding of what your obligations are going to be with the order of conditions. I don't want any surprises that any of the performance standards they have will be reflected by you, that you're complying with just as many of the regulations and testing and that. And we're going to clarify that and find out for sure on that baseline.
Understood.
The only other thing I would say is that I noticed that section F for signatures and submittals, there's no signatures. I don't know if this is a copy from
Sorry,
before the submission, that's fine, but,
The one I sent in has all my signatures in it.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
that's okay.
Actually, I had my wife
I
bring that
know.
in.
That was more a warning for your benefit.
All the
than anything
signatures
else.
are on that one, the one on record. Sorry about that.
That's not this one. Section F, the big time there.
So these are little details that we just want to make sure get, your Ts and your Is crossed.
Usually that.
It's missing from here, the official one from the record.
So Ty, I'm gonna need that storm event or the methodology and how you're anchoring your cages tomorrow in my office. You said 150 cages max in your first year of operation. We're gonna check with Chuck on what sort of disease management the other farms are doing.
Is there
Cover it?
like a master selectman folder here with, the
No,
other
this is the
proposals? 'Cause
Concom.
That was brought before this desk at the selectmen's meeting, but
Well, the selectmen, then you should have
I know,
submitted
I should
that
put it in there.
into
I'm
your
sorry.
application with us. So just give me that information tomorrow, okay?
Yeah.
Okay,
Mario?
And signed.
Our file copy is not signed.
okay, well, I will get that
Yes, I'm
fixed.
finished.
the package I brought in has
Did
your
you,
signature
Jen,
on
I'm
it.
sorry, did you say that we did get a written response from Natural Heritage on this?
Natural heritage,
DML.
DMF.
The notice of intent indicates it's within an estimated habitat.
Hold on. Then we did not get that from, DMF yet. I mean, Natural Heritage.
So is it in an estimated habitat?
It looks like it is, yeah.
I mean, if he was.
Did you get your
was just
response from,
mistaken.
Natural Heritage yet? I didn't
Yeah.
see it.
I did,
You did get it from Natural Heritage?
yeah,
No,
they
it's
were,
a natural heritage
didn't email that.
for
Oh, I thought
endangered
he said
species.
DML.
No, I said DML.
Oh, okay.
When did you
No,
get?
I'm sorry, I'm talking about the,
You're talking about Division of Marine Fisheries.
underwater archaeological.
Yeah, I need Natural Heritage Endangered Species, and we can't close this hearing until we have that from them. And they have 30 days to respond. Their timing is different from ours. We have to put you on a hearing schedule within 21 days. Natural Heritage gets 30 days to comment, so sometimes there isn't a lag.
Right.
So we're gonna have to wait another week or two to make sure that they don't have any, I'm sure they'll be fine. This is probably estimated habitat for terns, if I had to guess. So, but it is our policy that we wait until we receive Natural Heritage's comments, or at least 30 days. Okay?
Okay.
So what will end up being is.
We'll continue.
We'll be asking you to request a continuance so that we can get all these details wrapped up, and when Natural Heritage supplies you with the information that gets added to the file, then we'll be able to close the hearing.
Okay.
All right? Does that all make sense? A lot of this is
It does.
extremely taxing as far as the.
So there'll be another Conservation Commission meeting that I'll be present?
Correct.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. There'll be one more, just to receive the last little bit of information. All the items that Jen had discussed, we'll get those submitted for the file, and then we're gonna wait for Natural Heritage to submit their letter. And once that's in there, then we can close the hearing and take it under advisement.
Okay.
Bring your entire selectmen's package to me tomorrow, and we'll go through it, and I'll take out relevant information that this board may need, and you can go and make copies and bring it back, okay?
Right.
So I'll be in the office tomorrow, so come see me, or have your wife come see me, okay?
Cool.
Okay.
And is there a date that would be good?
Well, you submitted this, we received this on the 18th, you probably mailed it to Natural Heritage on the 18th. How about the 21st of January? That work?
Yep.
Okay. Let's do the 21st, just to give Natural Heritage enough time.
We have a motion?
The request for the applicant, I move that we continue the hearing to January 21st.
Thank you.
Second.
Mary's motion, Russell's second for continuance to January 21st.
21st.
Yep, thank you. And is there any further comment from the board?
And Ty, before that, I would highly recommend you getting an updated letter from Chuck and Greg, okay? Thank you.
And is there anyone in the audience who would like to comment on this project? Seeing none,
Updated.
call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved. We have gone
Excellent.
through our.
Thank you, Ty.
Thank you, Ty.
So bring that information in, talk to Chuck.
We have
Thank
gone
you.
through our agenda on 2015, the first hearing, in a pretty quick time. With the board's indulgence, I'd like to just make a comment. We come into a new year as a community with our eyes wide open. May we all be successful, healthy, and continue to prosper in our community. I have nothing but the greatest hopes for all of us to succeed in all our goals. I'm very hopeful for this next year. With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Mary's motion, Mario's second.
I second one tonight.
That's right. 2 for 2. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstention? Unanimous, so moved.